Heavy downpours caused flooding across much of the Northeast, including Pennsylvania, Massachusetts, New York, and New Jersey, where the governor declared a state of emergency on Sunday. And the threat isn't over. The region is bracing for more rain and flash flooding in the days ahead.
Flash floods turned roads into rapids.
South Korea, the army there has been called in to help rescue efforts after deadly floods and landslides were triggered by torrential rain. At least 24 people have died and 10 others are missing. Crops and roads have been swept away and most trains have been suspended, whilst 13 cities have reported electricity blackouts.
This year, the 8th and 9th of July saw landslides and flash floods lashing several parts of India. In Himachal Pradesh, torrential rains claimed at least 6 lives. Chandigarh, Mohali and Panchkula, that collectively form a tri-city, also faced flood threats amid unprecedented rain. And New Delhi has recorded the highest ever rainfall in a single day in July since 1982. These horrific scenes are not just restricted to India. Even its neighboring country, Pakistan, is affected even more adversely. Over 70 people have been killed by floods and landslides in Pakistan since June. In this episode, we look at some of the shocking videos of nature's wrath caught on camera. Cloudbursts, flash floods and landslides have been triggered by torrential monsoon rains in Himachal Pradesh, creating havoc, claiming human lives. "13 landslides and 9 flash floods were reported across the mountain state. Even the ancient Shiva temple in Mandi was partially submerged in water due to the Bias River in Spate. The temple has now been separated from the city since the bridge connecting it was washed away in floods.
बहुत ही खराब सिचुएशन है in this time.
Another video that went viral on social media from Uttarakhand shows a bus full of passengers trying to cross a heavily flowing river. The passengers are seen jumping out of the vehicle as the bus started tilting due to strong flow of the river in Ramgarh village. Reportedly, authorities reached the spot and rescued the passengers. Millimeters of rain in a 24-hour period. This is the highest rainfall in a single day in July since 1982. The downpour resulted in numerous areas of the city and the national capital region being submerged in water. Commuters faced difficulties as roads became impassable and traffic movement was restricted. The infrastructure was adversely impacted. This isn't the first time the villages of Assam have been inundated, leaving behind a trail of death and destruction. The Brahmaputra Valley that encompasses the northeast part of India witnesses floods almost every year, forcing residents to flee their homes, leaving behind their belongings. On the 4th of July, a massive rock crushed cars during a landslide in the landlocked state of Nagaland. A video from the accident site shows how cars turned into a heap of metal within seconds. 2 people died and 3 were injured in the accident. Miraculously, occupants of one of the cars were seen exiting it. The incident was captured on the dashboard camera of a car waiting behind. In both South Asian countries, monsoons are becoming more erratic. The reason? Climate change and global warming.
No need of coming this way, you can't pass. Even a bike cannot cross. Everywhere is filled up.
Nigeria has experienced a series of devastating flooding incidents. Many areas are prone to annual floods, which have led to loss of lives and the destruction of properties. Today on People Talk, we asked residents of Agege what they think about the flood in their community.
The canal here flowing through all the houses left and right is always flooded. So you see them packing out their loads every time it rains. You have to stand still for hours. You know this place, we take bike to Fagba. So we have to stand until the flood goes down. Then we can take bike and move. So 2-3 hours sometimes. You have to stay wherever you are, except the flood will take you away and try to reach. So we cannot risk our life. So you have to stay stranded until the flood goes away. To destroy my children, the flood almost took everything away, spoiled their computers, their books. You know, it rained maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago. My children, they thought it's on normal rain.
Since 2:30, it's past 3 o'clock at the moment, and the flood condition has been really worrisome. Houses are being submerged in flood. This is New Okuoba. This is the street behind Abimbola Awoli Estate. You can see houses being submerged in flood. Gates and fences. Since 2:30.
24 hours after the heavy rains that lasted into the late hours of the previous day, residents besieged the point where 2 cars and their passengers were trapped.
Here at home, that record-breaking heat wave goes on in much of the country, while sudden historic rains have added insult to injury in Mayfield, Kentucky.
Tonight, dueling hallmarks of this summer's severe weather stretch. In North Carolina this afternoon, a confirmed EF3 tornado near Rocky Mount. Wind speeds up to 150 miles per hour, wreaking havoc on a highway and destroying part of this manufacturing facility owned by the drug maker Pfizer.
Some of the worst flooding in nearly 100 years. The capital of Vermont tonight underwater, shut down most of the day. Authorities fearing a nearby dam may not hold. Vermont Governor Phil Scott tonight calling the devastation, quote, historic and catastrophic. 8 inches of rain in just hours. The city still deemed not safe for public travel. A driver trapped in his car as the waters there washed it away. The Wrightsville Dam nearing capacity at this hour as the water levels continue to rise. From Vermont tonight.
Tonight, raging rivers. From record-breaking storms bringing new danger to millions.
Make no mistake, the devastation and flooding we're experiencing across Vermont is historic and catastrophic.
Vermont's capital city, Montpelier, inundated overnight with up to 8 inches of rain. Cars floating down streets, windows of businesses looking more like fish tanks. The water nearly as high as the city's parking meters. By noon, swift water teams ferrying well over 100 residents to dry land.
In many areas, the water conditions remain too dangerous for rescue by boat.
After the Winooski River crested at a near record 21 feet overnight, officials now watching the nearly full Wrightsville Dam.
And David, I got to show you this water line. It shows just how high those floodwaters rose here in downtown Montpelier. Officials have just recently lifted the emergency order banning travel in this area, but you can hear those emergency sirens, David. They are still warning many areas are still not safe, and more storms are on the way, expected Thursday through the weekend, David.
And certainly be careful while you walk there. Janae Norman leading us off from the capital of Vermont. What a scene, Janae. Thank you. Let's get right to Chief Meteorologist Ginger Z tracking it all again tonight. And of course, the dangerous heat too across several states. But first, Ginger, these floods, the pictures from Janae there in the Northeast. A short break, you told us, but then more storms coming.
Yes, I mean, Cindy Byers and our neighbor were getting new water heaters today just in time for more rain to end the week and start.
More than 13 million people in the northeastern United States are affected by flooding as the storm, which has already caused extensive damage, hit the New England region. Flash flooding due to excessive rainfall is expected across New England until Wednesday morning, with Vermont facing the highest risk. Areas in Vermont are bracing for massive flooding at a level not seen since 2011. New York declares a state of emergency.